Welcome to the IslandStats.com football show, your weekly dose of all the action from Bermuda's top football leagues. We bring you in-depth coverage of the Premier and First Divisions, results, highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. We also keep you up to date with the latest news and developments from the Bermuda Football Association. Stay tuned for the IslandStats.com football show, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the beautiful game in Bermuda. Now let's join the IslandStats.com football show team. Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Basin. Joining me is co-host Andrew Griffith and co-host Garrett Punchy Dill. Well, gentlemen, let me just run down. Punch, I'm just going to mute yours. We're getting a lot of feedback, so I'll put you back in a second. Let's run down the scores from starting with Thursday night, the international match. It was Bermuda 0, Curacao 7. Then on Friday night, it was a Premier Division match that featured Boulevard Blazers and Paget Lions that ended in a 2-2 draw. And then today at Lords and St. David's, it was St. David's 2, Robin Hood 0. I know Parlerville Street is grabbing Toronto Gallifern right now to get a comment and coaches, but they don't cover these games on a Monday, so don't worry about it. So I want to talk about Thursday night, gentlemen, and get your feedback. We will be joined by Dennis Brown at 6:15 to discuss, way forward as president of the Coaches Association. We want to see what, locally, what we can put our heads together and do. But we'll speak with Dennis then. But Punchy, I want to get your take on Thursday night. I know we had the pregame show, but now you've had a chance. You've seen the game. You've had a chance to I guess digest it. Share with us your thoughts on Thursday night.
Well, I just, that was, that was one of the, I guess I can say this earlier, I am going to be very frank with you guys. One of the worst displays I've ever seen by a national team in terms of they looked very, very, it didn't even look like they had camaraderie. It didn't even look like they looked like they were so out of touch with one another. It was very disappointing. And again, Griffin and I was talking about how we could see that first goal, the goal that was by the penalty. Okay, that went in. That was only 5 minutes. But, just the overall, the team structure, there's a lot of questions being asked about the players themselves. And then a lot of people now, because I get to talk to a lot of people talking about the coaching staff and, what's really going on. The players, they look so disjointed, really.
Yeah. Griff, give us your overall opinion on Thursday night.
Well, Bermuda, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. You can't play a weaker team than you played in the first game and expect a better result. So we had all our strongest players, more professional players, playing in Curacao when we came out on the wrong end of a 3-2 game. And my two co-hosts, they need licks too. I don't know what they were thinking when they said 2-1 Bermuda. I didn't see how that was going to happen. Maybe that was, we were at home and we were hoping a fairy tale would happen, but as you see, that didn't happen. So when I said three goals in each half, you guys raised your eyebrows. Well, I was a little dumb too. I was wrong. It was 2 goals in one half and 5 in the other. So I'm not surprised. But you can't send people to a gunfight with knives. Like we were outclassed, outmatched. They were better. Like that's say what it is. Like the coaches, you can't expect them to do any more, I think, than what they had. The players gave the all with the skills that they had. That's the best we have. And it is what it is. That's my take on it.
What I gotta say about also, look, now that because the games are live. There's no cheating. You can't, and you look at like the way the goals were scored, especially the last one. I can't even blame the goalkeeper about the last one because, there was not even no pressure on the ball. He just said, well, you know what? You're giving me this much space. I'm going to take advantage of that. And it was a well-taken goal. But it just seems that this whole program now, this whole trying to qualify for the World Cup, and we had a great chance to do really good here. It's just going down. It's just going backwards. It's like the country's taking a step backwards. That's taking a step backwards, really. And the other thing about that, there's no hiding no more. They had that on BBC. They had it on BBC about, with Curacao being one of the smallest nations to possibly qualify for the World Cup. And the goals that were shown was like, wow. When you look at that, you're like, wow, so bad defended. And just so bad defended and so slow, closing people down. And then, well, let's say about the guys that came from playing in Bermuda, the Bermuda-based players. And like Griffith said, they look really out of their depth, really. And when you start analyze, if you were to analyze every single player there that started that game, and put them in 1 to 10, I wonder what kind of results we'll see in terms of documenting. Okay, just what were their contributions to their team, and it was really well, and it was really just a really bad display. And then again, with all the conversations that I have with people, they're talking about, well, let's look at the coaching staff. And that's questions being asked now to a lot. That question is being talked about and spoken about our qualifications, trying disqualification, playing in this tournament here, and another tournament, World Cup qualifying, and the amount of goals that we've conceded. And it's just really bad. I'm really most of the people I talk to are really, really angry about the display of the national team against Curacao the last game. Really angry.
Right.
Well, I'm glad we have Dennis coming on because, like, you can be angry and you can have bad expectations, but what is the yardstick to say that it's successful? Because if you look in the other groups, the bottom team has like one win, and they have a lot of goals against. So it's like It's not just us. The lower seeded teams in each group will always have an uphill battle. So I'll be interested to hear what Dennis says on the technical aspects of measuring how well a team does, because it's hard to, like, you can't. Let's say we played USA 3 times and they smacked us like 7-8-0 each time. Did we do bad, or is that part for the course? Could they beat us by more? Like I don't know how you measure it.
Well, I mean, one of the things we look back at is, and I keep saying it, measure us when that select team played Connor's team.
Oh, yes.
We look at what the local base players, because the majority of those players were the local base players, and we saw what they were up against, an attacking technical team. And that's what we saw on Thursday with Curacao. I honestly believe Curacao took us lightly in Curacao, and hence the result. Yes, Bermuda did step up to the plate, but you saw a true because I know you watched a little bit of the Curacao Jamaica game, right, Griff?
Yep.
And you saw what they put together in that match to beat Jamaica 2-0, and we just saw the entire package of it at the National Stadium on Thursday night. The entire package of what they've been working for and working, with, and obviously when you have a coach like with renowned credits to his name as Dick Avocat, it makes a big difference because he knows how to organize chaos. If that being the case, because just like our national coaches, you don't have much time to work with these guys. You just have to come up with a plan that kind of keeps you in the game as long as you could possibly stay in the game. Now, Curacao go to Jamaica, and now they only need a draw, but they've already had a setback because the coaches had to leave for personal reasons. So they'll be without Dick on this final night, a night that they're going to need some sort of, guidance in that final game because they played Jamaica. Winner goes through. Second place may not get that second place spot.
You see, that's a nice one. Who goes into whoever makes it through the playoffs, and you see what the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Whoa!
Yeah,
I think Bolivia's going to be in the group.
Yeah, the second place may not.
That's right.
Second place in our group may not get that playoff spot because right now, what Curacao got 11.
Yeah, it could
That's
take
right.
12
Yeah.
points. Yeah.
Yeah. And if Jamaica win, Jamaica go on 13, but those 11 for Curacao are no good. And right now, if Jamaica's on 9 and they lose, or even if they get a draw, 10 is not going to be good enough.
Oh yeah. I think it's going to take 12 points.
So this group here, it's going to be one team going through, and that's the winner of the group.
That's the winner of the group. That's exactly right. Yeah. That's right. And winner takes all on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But it's,
I would say this.
Though, our group is the only group in where the last game, first place takes on second place.
Yeah.
The other groups aren't like that. So our group's real interesting.
What these players would have had to endure on this trip started out yesterday heading to Trinidad is looking in the mirror at themselves and saying that they have to be better against Trinidad. In order to gain some confidence back in some people, you're not gonna get confidence back in all people, but in order to get some confidence back in some people, they have to have a better performance on Tuesday night against Trinidad in Trinidad.
And well, the question is again, when we start looking at our displays, going back to what Griffith said about the displays in these games, we definitely like the last game, the 7-0, but also against Jamaica here. And just being physically, technically superior. We look inferior in all those aspects. And that's really alarming. That's alarming. But again, we were talking about we were talking about, I've had so much conversation with people. And there are different, what we need to do and why we look out of our depth. Now. Why are we out of our depth now? I understand we're in one of the toughest groups, but we look really out of our depth in all those games, except for the one in Curacao. And I think you guys are right. They took us maybe lightly, but that same display was never showed on Saturday night. That same quality was never showed on Friday or the other night on Thursday night. No way.
What was the score of the first Jamaica game? Was it 3-0?
4-0, I think.
4-0.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to find out in the months leading up to the World Cup, a lot of these teams, as they make their way to North America, they try to get in some practice games. So that'll be interesting because Bermuda is a nice stopping point. So I will be interested to see if some of those teams find that Bermuda will be worth the effort to have like a little warm-up thing before they get to the U.S.
Yeah, if it's feasible financially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If it's feasible financially, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make more sense to fly straight to the United States and find a club team, or does it make sense to come here and pay some outrageous hotel price where you lay your hair down for over $500 in a room?
Curacao and Cocoa Reef.
Yeah. So if it works out financially for them. We didn't do ourselves no favor by losing 7-0, but again, if we do well against Trinidad, it brings some credibility back to the program.
Yeah,
and that would offer a European team, somebody would offer them a chance to say, hey, let's look at Bermuda as a stepping stone to the World Cup kind of thing. But yeah, it's gonna take.
One thing I found out on after the game on Thursday, you see the stuff that we don't always see. So apparently, after each game, 2 players from each team are randomly chosen for drug testing.
Yes.
And with some issues holding up the process. They said the Curacao manager lost his ever-loving mind because it delayed him getting back to the hotel. He was spitting fire.
Hey, they know what they're up against because it's all part of the process.
Yeah.
So I mean, if the hold up was one of the players couldn't be, and they have to wait. Sometimes they are allowed to go back to the hook, but the problem is the random two players, like in any other international event, cannot be taken out of sight of the person testing them.
Yeah.
They have to follow them everywhere. So those two players are required to stay in sight of that person, and where you go. So yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Dennis Brown. We'll be right back.
What could life be like with Drop It? It's getting home, lighting a candle, and finally having that quiet cup of tea before dinner, because your groceries already handled, delivered straight from Lindo's to your doorstep, fresh and on time. Drop It gives you back the best part of your day, a moment that's yours. Dropit.bn, your groceries delivered. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, digital is proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
And welcome back. Well, we're just working out some technical difficulties with Dennis, and hopefully he can join us shortly. But to continue the conversation, it's going to be interesting to hear what somebody like Dennis, who is currently the president of the Bermuda Coaches Association, Bermuda Football Coaches Association, he put out something on Facebook, and I think giving him the opportunity to express because people read stuff and take it one way, but when you hear what the person's got to say verbally, I think it comes across a little different. It's just telling me, Dennis, if you're watching, you just need to connect your mic and your camera, and we can get you in. But Griff, it was interesting, like you were talking about the fact that Curacao took that time up at Cocoa Reef to get prepared for Bermuda to stay on track and get through Thursday night.
Yeah, as soon as it stopped raining, I think they missed a slot at National Stadium or whatever. The transportation wasn't ready, didn't stop them. They went down onto the field at Bermuda College, and they had like a full session, took all the equipment through. So by any means necessary, I guess, when it's all on the line.
Yeah, and Punchy, obviously, we've given up so many girls in this run. It says a lot, doesn't it?
It's a real lot. It's a real lot about how the team is set up. And I think Griff and I was also talking about who's playing the middle. Like, let's say when we start looking at the back four the other night against Curacao on the left side, I thought that young man that plays in Scotland, I thought he had a fairly good game.
Yep.
I think he did. He did. The problem is what I thought is that having the support around him in terms of his ball possession is very good. A lot of times he looked up, you could see him on the, he won a lot of tackles. But his passing was really good, and he got into some really good spaces on the left side. But what I find is that this is his first selection of playing in this game, and it was definitely a difficult time for him. But him, I rated out of all the back three, the back four, as the best. The center position in the center of the park, Harry Twite and Dante Lovett, it's still very, very it's bad. Dante doesn't. We talked about how many games has he played in this country at the club level, and you could see it a couple of times. His pace is off, but definitely off. And I still think Harry Twite is learning that. I think Harry Twite's his positioning, his closing people down. I think his speed reaction in terms of making battle decisions, in terms of when he's defending, it's not up where it should be. I'm sorry. And I think the other one that played on the right side, what was his name? Simmons?
Dejon
Simmons.
Yeah.
Now the third goal was given up by him. Pressure. We were right there.
Yeah.
The ball comes out wide to him. There's no movement in front of him. He plays a square ball inside. 4 passes later, the ball was in the goal. But the ball was in the goal. So, and remember, he's not been playing for a long time. He's not been playing a lot of football, even last year, because he was recovering, I think, from a knee surgery.
No, Achilles.
Yeah, okay, Achilles. So he's not back into full stride at all.
He's had about 6 or 7 games this season.
All right. Not to cut you guys off, but we're joined by Dennis Braun. Dennis, first of all, good evening. Thanks for joining.
You're muted.
Is he muted?
No, he's not muted. I just don't think his mic's connected yet.
Ron, you want me to speak for you? You probably say the same thing.
It's not working, Dennis? Okay, Dennis, try one more time. Go out and come back in and see what happens. See if we can get your mic connected. Yeah. Okay, Punchy. Continue on. What's that?
I just think that when we start individually looking at those back four, I think they'll always make some tremendous saves. And he was, you're looking at the goals that were scored in the first 10 minutes, where they instructed posts. They had enough space to play, and just how quick they were, the decision making, and the marking. I mean, how he set the team up was just like, wow. You know what you're up against. And if supposed to go the penalty, then I would say, look, we're going to make an adjustment here defensively. I'm not talking about taking people off, making the substitutions, but in terms of even the front three, the pressure. I think when we started looking at the front three, Ezekiel Lewis was struggling physically. You could see it.
Yeah.
And I made a mention to that to Griffith too. After 15 minutes.
Let me just see if Dennis's audio is working.
Yeah.
Dennis, can you hear us? Dennis?
He can hear us.
He can hear us, but we can't hear him. Oh, man. Not the time.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, Dennis.
All right.
There you go. All right. That was harder than the national score, didn't it?
No comment.
Hey. We brought you on for opinions. No comment.
No comment.
All right. Well, welcome, Dennis. We were discussing, your piece that you put out and the time and your thought process that you put into it. It has some solutions, but we want to get you to express some of the things you've put out there, because I think, as I said to you, a lot of people will read it and have an opinion of it, but when they hear you say what you've got to say, I think they get a better understanding of it. So let's go through some of the things you talked about.
Okay, good night, guys. Again,
Good night.
Thanks for having me on. Like I tell you before, Earl, my time is a little limited tonight, but I'll go through the document as fast as I can, as much as I can. So let me say right away that I'm not here to step on nobody's toes. I'm not here to embarrass any organization. These are just my personal views and opinions because I think I've played football and been around football long enough to express my views. I'm also the president of the Bermuda Football Coaches Association. So that gives me an avenue to, and also I'm on the player development committee at the BFA, so they know my views when it comes to the development of football. So it's not about embarrassing anybody. It's not about stepping on anybody's toes. This is just my opinion. I'm thinking about it on Friday and trying to assist Bermuda football moving forward. So the first thing I talked about was, first thing I wrote was to build a national football identity. Forever, we haven't really had an identity. If you ask any football player over the last 20 plus, 30 plus years, ask them what is Bermuda's football identity. I bet you they couldn't answer that. Right? So we have to create a philosophy that aligns with our youth academy as well as the senior team. Right? Focus, we have to focus on, and it's clear to see every game in this campaign, right? Jamaica, not so in the first match. I thought we had more possession than Jamaica in the first match, but Curacao there, Trinidad here, and Curacao and Jamaica, and then Jamaica and Curacao here. They possess the ball very well and very intelligently. So my thing was to focus on a possession base. We have to improve when we're in possession. We have to improve on our touches of the ball. We have to improve in our decision making when we're under pressure. And I teach that every Sunday morning with 5-year-olds right up into 14-year-olds about having soft football intelligence, right? Which is making the decisions under pressure. And when we're under pressure, we make a lot of mistakes, which showed the other night. He's good, he third go, instead of putting his foot on the ball and making sure the pass gets to where it's supposed to go, hits it one time, under hit, in. We lose possession too much in the middle of the park. So our midfield players have to be more comfortable receiving balls under pressure and making better decisions. We have to decide how we're going to defend. Half the teams deploying high pressure, and it's too big a gap. We are not fit enough to go toe-to-toe with these teams and deploying high pressure. We're not fit enough. So if one or two people cheat in that system, we're all out of whack, right? So we have to decide whether we're going to go with a low to medium block or a high press or a low press. I thought we got it right in the first half when we played Honduras in Bermuda, when we went up 2-0, we were up 2-0 at the half. We had that correct. But then for some reason in the second half, we went high press and they just put balls over the top and drew us. So we had to decide how we're going to defend. Because Bermuda, over the years, what would any foreign coach tell you about Bermuda players? Bermuda players are fast. So to me, the perfect system is a medium to low block and catch teams on the break. With our pace, going on the break. So, this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? The coaches may have their opinion and reasons why they play like they play, but I think we need to be more disciplined defensively at this level. You can't be all over the place, because if you're all over the place, you're going to get burnt. Right? So looking at these small nations, even in the World Cup qualifiers going on now, right? Look at a lot of these small nations, how they defend, right? Looking at Morocco, right? Looking at Morocco in the under-17 championships. Hang on, Earl, keep talking, my wife's calling.
Okay, all right. All right, well.
like what he's saying about identity. If there are a lot of teams out there with identity that have had even though they have it and they have the way of playing that didn't qualify for the World Cup. Look at Holland. Holland's missed it a few times. Italy's missed it. Germany, England. There's some big teams that missed the World Cup.
All right, he's back.
Okay, so I got about 10 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so my last thing in relation to building the football identity is we now have to encourage clubs, and I want to step on the clubs' toes, and academies to teach the same core principles. Like, how do we want to play football in Bermuda? I think one organization has it, and that is FC Basel. They have it. If you look at every FC Basel team play
Same way.
they play the same way. But once you look at the National Academy, and it has to come through sessions. So I see the under 15s train, the under 17s train, the under 23s or whatever, and the seniors. And nobody's doing the same thing. Everybody's doing something different. So we have to encourage, and it starts from the academy, all teams to be trained in the same, whereby Mr. Finley has to have a bigger hand in what happens in the National Academy youth side. And
Isn't that what the technical director does?
No, but at the end of the day, who sets the system for the senior team? No, that's the coach. So that's a collaboration between the coach and the technical director, right? Just going on a model, Iceland, unified national system where all coaches were taught the same tactical structure, right? Iceland, 370,000 people, Bermuda, 65,000 people. Why can't that happen in Bermuda? Because in my opinion, is as coaches was splintered all over the place. As coaches, it's not a lot of respect. And I'm being honest and I'm being straight up from what I see and what I've seen as the president of the Coaches Association.
I think the president of the Coaches Association should bring them together.
Coaches, some guys don't like each other. Like for what? For what? Like, let's try to get along, work with each other. And to me, the most important thing is the player. And we had to try to work together. Whether you like me or not, you like me. At the end of the day, my interest is improving football in Bermuda. Right? So at the end of the day, so number two, what I talked about was expanding the player pool. Right? So we had to establish a scouting program, a big scouting program, not just with one or two people. We had to establish a big scouting program in the UK and North America. One of my recommendations was to host an annual heritage camp in the UK, hold a heritage camp either in America or Canada. And I'm sure that we can get people coming out who have Bermuda heritage. Right?
So Dennis, can I ask a question on that? So do you believe there are a lot of players that are not yet identified?
It could be. Have we did that exercise? Have we did that exercise outside of Bermuda? Not saying that they haven't. We haven't. Well, we need to work harder to get players outside of Bermuda coming in to strengthen up Bermuda's team.
I want to believe that we have done it to an extent, and if there are gaps, I don't think it's that many people. Right? Like they say,
but the opportunity would be there.
Huh?
But the opportunity would be there for those players to to come out knowing when the time is and properly plan to get there. Not just, the coach is going to show up next week and all of a sudden I'm not available.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that many players that we haven't identified.
But if we got one or two, then that's more, isn't it?
Okay, well, I'm a stats man, right? I'm a stats man.
Yeah.
Right? So you show me what you've done, right? And I'm pretty sure, being on the PDC that the BFA have done this. But now we have to cast our net a little wider. Because these other teams in our region, they are lethal when it comes to bringing other people in, right? And we're getting left behind.
But again, that's it. Like they have, like Jamaica's population is 4.4 million, Trinidad at 1.27, Curacao is 453. Like they have, the men in the country have gone around and stirring the seed all over the world. No matter what you say about us, I don't think we have done as much damage as they could do. So the outside of Bermuda offspring, I don't think is as proliferate as the other countries.
Let's tap into that.
All right.
Let's tap into that because with me, I don't like to hear excuses. Right? Let's do it. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, then fine. I'm fine with that. Next thing, infrastructure, facilities, poor. We have to upgrade our facilities, and I know the association is working on upgrading their field, but club facilities, poor. Most clubs, most changing rooms are the same when I was playing, or even when Punchy was playing. The fields, although the fields have improved since we were playing, because years ago you used to have big patches right out the middle of the pitch, right? But the fields are a little better. But what I'm looking at is, and every time I go to the UK, you have different areas with 3G pitches, with the solar lighting fenced in. Some areas you have, they call them cages, where you encourage guys to get out there and play a lot of 5v5, 6v6. We have to encourage our guys to play a lot more football, right? So the facilities, so in the Western end, I'm talking about creating regional academy teams, so regional team from the West. All right, so from Somerset all the way up to possibly PHC, that's your Western region, right? They're from Paget, Central, with the Central teams, and then the Eastern teams. So the Western teams can have those 3G pitches, possibly at Malabar, Royal Naval Field. The Eastern, or the Central, can possibly have the BFA field, BAA, which should be upgraded, and then the Eastern can have, looking at a field like Shally Bay, right? So if we could get fields like that, 3G, they can be used all year round, right? Good surface, true surface, right? So you play on a lot of club fields. You're looking at the Dudley final last week. I mean, although it had a lot of grass on it, but the field was very, 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 very bumpy. Right, so we're looking to play on true surfaces to work on total technique. So what's important to me is I love my country dearly, right? And at the end of the day, we have to make sure that everything is in place. And the reason I put this document together is because I want to assist, and I think I am within the Player Development Committee. I want to assist in improving football in Bermuda, not just for players, but for coaches. Another pet peeve is that at the academy, we have to have the best coaches coaching the best players, right? And right now, we have a lot of inexperience, and which I've highlighted. This is nothing new. I'm not talking about the young coaches. Yeah, we have to put young coaches here, but with those young coaches, you need mentors for those young coaches, because I think over the years we've just thrown the young coaches out to the fire, going to tournaments, and a lot of bad decisions were made within those tournaments. So young coaches in the academy, which I welcome, which I like, but the young coaches need more mentors like the Andrews and the Kennets and the Joan Bears and the DeBar Boyles and the Scott Mortons around these guys to ensure that they're delivering what has to be delivered. So my last thing I talked about was the roadmap for how we're going to get there. So from the phase one, it should be the foundational phase. 2025 to 2027. So continue the coach education, facility upgrades, and let's try to get some more the diaspora database up to date. Build infrastructure and coaching database. Phase two, consolidation, 2027 to 2030. Competitive Nations League, Gold Cup campaigns, establish Bermuda among the top 10 CONCACAF nations. So by the time 2030 comes, this should be one of our goals between now and then, to establish ourselves as one of the top 10. Right now, I believe we're like 22, something like that, 21, 22 in CONCACAF, so we got a ways to go. Our next two cycles, let's look to compete and get into the Gold Cup. Right, so that should be our first priority between the Gold Cup and getting promotion in the Nations League between now and 2030. And in phase three, 2030 to 2034, cohesive generation of local and diaspora players compete for World Cup cycle qualifications. Looking at the academy teams, we have some talent. We have a lot of talent between here and a lot of guys are overseas. So we need to, need to put our players in a good position to compete. One of the other things I talked about was preparation. Everybody else plays against top opponents. How many practice matches have we had prior to this campaign?
I don't think we had any.
So at the end of the day, during all the windows, whether it's a friendly or whether it's really competitive, we need to ensure that we put our players, because look at all our games in this cycle. We've fallen behind early in matches. Mm-hmm. So that tells me that mentally, we're not ready for that type of intensity. So we don't really wake up until like 25, 30, close to the half. So we have to put our players into more competitive matches on a regular basis. So it's easier for the Caribbean teams to have practice matches because they can just hop from island to island. You know, it's difficult for Bermuda. And, you know, I sympathize with the association because it's costly to get teams to come here to Bermuda. It's costly. So everybody has to work together in order to not just yes, I see players have to put in the extras. I agree, because I believe that we're not fit enough. We're definitely not fit enough to go toe-to-toe with these teams. And that's it. I wouldn't say I was irritated, but I was disappointed in the result on Thursday night. I expected more. But if you look at it, it's really difficult to chastise the players and the staff because this is the position that we're in. Every other country invests heavily into their campaigns, and you know what I mean. So we have to try. I'm not blaming anybody, but we have to just try to get bigger investment in our national team.
Yeah. I know your time is limited, Dennis, and I want to thank you very much for joining in. It's something food for thought. We have to have you back so we can elaborate just a little more, and because if solutions are put forward, then we can work towards things, and I think that's where we need to go. We have a lot of people on the sideline just complaining, but solutions are what we need, and I know one of the things Punch is always talking about is the quality of coaches at the academy level, and that's something that we'll pick up on, Punchy, once Dennis is going, because I think you speak loud about that we have this talent. And even at coaching level, we have the young talent, but we don't have what Dennis has mentioned. There's people who oversee those people in mentorship. All right, Dennis.
Yeah. So the last thing on that.
Yes.
Last thing, I'm not bringing on any coaches because I think all those coaches at the academy have talent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But at the end of the day, that talent needs to be nurtured. That talent needs to be mentored to ensure that they're carrying out the functions that they need to be carrying out. It's not easy. From outside looking in, it's not easy. So, yeah, let's work together. I'm not here to jump on people or step on your toes. I'm here for the betterment of football in Bermuda. And stay tuned for other things that are coming forward because, we've got a timeline of between 2030 and 2034. Now is the time to start planning for that. Mm-hmm. The last match comes up on Tuesday, but now is the time to start planning for, I believe, next year's Nations League and stuff like that. So we now need to start putting these together in preparation for that. So, yeah, anytime, guys, just let me know prior, and then, I have no problem coming on.
All right. Appreciate your time. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to take our second commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation, and we'll get into the Friday night and today's match and our picks as well. So we'll be right back.
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
The holidays are busy, but shopping doesn't have to be. With Drop It, Bermuda's local grocery delivery service, you can skip the crowds and let us bring everything right to your door. Fresh ingredients, pantry staples, and holiday must-haves, all from Lindo's delivered with care. Less time in line, more time for what matters. Order now at dropit.bn. Your groceries delivered. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, Punchy, and I just bring back Griff. Punchy, obviously, Dennis touched on some of the stuff that you've been touching on, the coaching at the National Academy. Obviously, that's something that you've been really, really harping on. We have these coaches, but we need to have people that are there to help them and guide them. Is that something that you would encourage more and more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's, I read just everything he said. We've had discussions, Dennis and I, and also with Curly, because Curly's been a part of his academy also. And last summer, I went to watch, he brought in the Manchester City coaches, and I was going up Sunday mornings to watch them coach. And what I like so much, what I am so in, with Dennis, with Drew, and it's a proven fact that these guys have actually really dedicated their lives to improvement of the game in this country at the grassroots level, at the junior level. And everything he speaks about, he's spoken about the platforms that need to be done, are so true, are so important that the other countries that you've seen improve, whether it's Norway, Iceland, we're talking about an identity. We're talking about something, the same scenario. They sat down and said, listen, this is the direction we're going in. We have the common concept of what Norwegian football is going to be like in 5 to 10 years. And look what they're producing. So everything he speaks about and talks on, the points that he touches on are so important. My problem is, and my fear is that who will implement these programs? And there are certain things, there's other things about preparation. Now, I thought when David Bascom had the summer program, I think, what was it called? He had up the National Stadium?
ISL?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was the beginning of something great. I thought, but who took it over after who took that over? And I thought we could have continued on with that, because that gets, and then we could have, and there's so many things I talked with David, then we could have been bringing in players to play alongside, semi-pro players to play alongside the Bermudian selects that play the 7-a-side. I thought that's a yardstick for us to be working on. I think that's what Dennis is speaking about preparation at the junior level, whether it's the Pee-wees. We have to have the right people in charge and the facilities. And he's touched base on a lot of stuff, and I'm so glad that we had him on the show. The direction, and again, what he's talking about, the pictures, facilities. And I said that when I first came back from, England, I spent the time, all the stuff that I learned there. I wrote down, I've got books, notes from when I was in 2017, going to the training session and writing stuff down. And my first thing was that I spoke about, said the Thursday afternoons, the Academy had signed, and this is only one part, I'm not going to talk about this long. The Academy, Bournemouth Academy had signed, this on the 15th, had signed an agreement to schools, everybody, that the Academy players are going to, that Thursdays will be their day off, complete football, everything that we were talking about, film watching, physical conditioning, technical ability, what else was it? And also working foosball. And so I used to drop my grandson over at 9 o'clock in the morning. I won't pick him up to 5 o'clock that night, then in the evening time. And it was total football. And the education that was also employed, meaning that he had to do his homework at the academy. He had to have his food, making him food. And, then it was just a complete, I was like, wow, can this happen in Bermuda? Could we do this to start implementing programs that the good young players could have? We could try that, I think. I think it could really work. That they will be coached on a Thursday and they'll be out all day. And then that would also help, I think so. So now when you're young, you're like, whoa, I want to do that. I want to be in that academy. And I think that's the building blocks. I think what Dennis said, we have to have building blocks for where we are going. And of course, last but not least, identity. Identity in this country it's just seems to have fallen by the wayside. The way we are, with what kind of personalities we are, we're not fighting people, we don't have big riots and carry on. I'm sorry about the crime, what's happening in the country between young people. But basically, we're really nice, humble people. But we got to find a way with this attitude and our really nice way of our living, how to compete at this level. And it starts from the junior when we're young. When we're young, I think he's really got spot on about what the changes in this country have got to come to. So we have seen the effects at the national level. And I feel sorry for the players. I mean, really. I mean, but you got to be prepared much better. And the other countries have done it. And the more studying that I've done, it seems that is what they done. And we're talking about Norway, like even the countries like Azerbaijan, all those countries now, you're not gonna do easy game when you're playing when you're playing in the games now.
No.
You're not gonna have just an easy game. You're gonna have these countries that have been there, that have been a small country as we say, but they've done the same thing. Development at the youth level, coaching, and it's really it's just a pleasure to have Dennis on.
Yeah.
And the show, at least here we have a show that we can help people give that information, express themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griff, what did you take from it, Griff?
I was a little disappointed because I thought we would have more of an exchange, because there were things I think we needed to expand on. Like a lot of this, I'd say at least 80% of the stuff that he identified, BFA has had strategic plans and developed 5 and 10-year plans. FIFA pays for facilitators from FIFA and CONCACAF to come here and help develop these long-term plans. And a lot of what he said are in the plans. Like I probably was involved in probably in the early 2010s to 2015. And a lot of what he said is in there. Like it's identified. Let's do it. But you can come up with whatever plan you want, is producing whatever goes behind it. That's the hard thing, executing. And like that, it's not that easy. In some of the responses to his post on Facebook, people believe that the panacea is a professional league in Bermuda. And every time I was treasurer when BFA split a season with the Hawks, a professional league in Bermuda is pie in the sky. And I'll argue with anybody, any day of the week, anytime they want. It's not viable in Bermuda. With the numbers and what they were, you need at least like 5,000 to 7,500 people per match. That ain't even happening for World Cup. And as you can see, when we lost at the end, it was paid attendance. It was like 1,100 and something on Thursday night. Like, it's not going to happen. So if the people don't support it, then the corporate community will support it, and it becomes what it was eventually. Folks like, go talk to Paul Scott. He said, hey, this is just not financially viable. So he put a lot of money into it. Like, so we need players to play outside of Bermuda. It's not going to happen in Bermuda. Same the ISL. I don't know the numbers of the ISL as intimately, but if it's anything near the Hawks, that's what's going to happen. When we first got awarded the Hawks, we were in a CONCACAF conference, I think, in Trinidad. And the guy from Panama asked us, hey, how many pro players will you have from outside of Bermuda in your team? We're like, none, this is for development. The guy laughed his tail off. I said, you had never been anything if you don't add in players. And he was right. We were in that successful. So, but we couldn't bear the cost of bringing in players, getting work permits, letting them stay here. Like, it just wasn't viable. So.
Yeah, so true, so true. So that actually, let's turn our attention to Friday night, Paget versus Boulevard Blazers at Devonshire Rec. Paget started off with a bang. They were up 2-0 early in the match. Boulevard managed to come back and score 2 goals in the first half to make it 2-2. I think Paget, when they went up 2-0, kind of took the foot off the pedal, but Boulevard was never really out of it. Even though they were down 2-0, they were never really out of the game. And the 2 quick goals that they got lifted the entire spirit, and you saw a different Boulevard team for the remainder of the game. I do want to wish their defender or their player who had the awkward fall, and whether it's a broken arm or a dislocated shoulder, whichever he received, I'm wishing him a speedy and healthy recovery, because nobody wants to see any player get injured on the field after putting in a lot of work to get ready for the season. So we want to wish him all the best. But when you heard the result, Punchy, what was your initial thoughts?
Oh, you mean when Patriot was winning, then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it became 2-2. It seems that Patriot's season hasn't started off really well, has it?
Yeah.
Hasn't started off well at all. Um, my thing about them is, again, you would think like at this stage now, this is the third year up. Am I right? This is the third year up.
Second
Year.
or third?
It's the
Second.
third year.
It could be the third. Yeah.
That's the third year up. You would think that again, building one of the building blocks for them to carry on, because I always put them like up in the third or fourth place, like an Aston Villa, some team that could really, start dictating football in the country with the support that they have. But it seems that they're struggling, and that's a good question too. Antoine, what's really happening up there? Because it looks to me that they look very average. The results look very average now. That they're still not got to the level where they should be. And again, the philosophy of football too. You got to ask, which Dennis is talking about, philosophy of football for Patriot, what's on max and all the teams in this country. What is their philosophy? Physical conditioning, mental conditioning, and tactical. And I think what lets Patriot on it, because I still think that they're going to be one of those teams that end up in fourth place, probably get to a final, right? Hopefully, and win something. But what do they do to keep taking another step to build their club and the quality, and just sustain themselves and start looking at third and first, and possibly looking at winning the league.
Right. Yeah. Griff, a team like Boulevard, obviously a slow start to the season for them, but what's your take on how they could come back from 2-0 down and end up with a draw?
Yeah, this is a bit surprising that they eked it out, because I thought they were going to be potential whipping boys of the Premier League. So maybe they're starting to gel, and they can make some things happen, and they'll start upsetting some teams. But I was surprised to see that they were down 2-0 and come back in and get the draw. And equally as surprised that Paget didn't hold on for the win. So I would say now I'm more positive about Boulevard than before, and less positive about Paget, because that result definitely surprised me. So again, like we say, they're gonna have to prove it to me before I have any faith in them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then obviously I saw both of you's eyeballs raised when we talked just prior to the start of the show with the result today. St. David's beating Robin Hood 2-0. Punch is still shaking his head, Griff. All after finding out.
I just can't believe that.
If anybody saw this game, please type something in the comments, please. This is a definite shocker.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
St. David's got two second half goals and from a substitute, and it's it was that day. It could have been.
Is this the late transfers possibly making a difference?
Not sure.
Okay.
Not sure, but
that must be for Sergio Aguero, to go down there and lose to St. David's with the quality that because I saw them 2 weeks ago. I told you guys about when I was watching them play North Village, and they were in bed at all. They were in bed. I think they have a young team, but that result today to St. David's, that's a real shocker.
It's one of those things. I often say this in Bermuda. Some teams before the game start underestimating their opponents, and before you know it, when the rut sets in, it don't change. It just stays and goes on and on and on. So Davis got that first goal midway through the second half, and then right after that got the second goal. And today was a day of challenging wind conditions. But if Robin Hood couldn't connect those passes together and get somebody running off the ball and all that stuff, it's just not going to happen.
But normally when stuff like that happens, the senior team players in the team settle everybody and say, look, and they organize it. Did Keyshawn play?
I haven't had a team sheet, so I
Team
don't
sheet?
know.
Yeah. So like it's something seems like it's off in that result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hopefully, but let's put it like this now, Punchy. Let's put you in the position of Sergio.
Yeah.
It's early in the season. You only played. This is your third game all season because you've had a couple of games called off for whatever reasons. But it's your third game of the season. You've now got a record of 2-1. Would you rather this happen now, so now we could prove to your players from here on in you can't take any opposition lightly, or would you have rathered it later on?
I wouldn't rather it at all. But I wouldn't rather it at all. I don't want to be that thrown down my throat like that. No. My thing is when I watch them play, I think what Sergio's problem because maybe don't get Bean is playing for him now. Keyshawn is playing for them now. So he's going back to Austin Davis and wow. And then he loses today. Yeah. But I thought with the young players that Sergio has, I was really impressed. I mean, the work rate, what he's trying to do there, create a real good passing team, quality on the ball, and then the enthusiasm was there also. But I think it's a learning process for them. And when you come in to start from somewhere else and you bring your philosophy into a team, as I know Sergio is bringing there in terms of what he wants to see happen, it ain't going to happen right away. It ain't going to happen right away. You got it. It ain't going to happen right away. What you want, you think your team should be like. But I think there's a future for him there. I really do. This is one setback. But again, I would rather it happen. I'm with that. I would rather happen now, so I can shake them up.
Yes,
really shake them up. Really, I mean, like we're talking about that league. That we would think that Robin was going to win that league hands down, wouldn't we?
Right. Yeah. Opens
the door.
I would
say it's a double-edged sword when you have a senior player that probably still be playing Premier that plays with you in First Division and helps to teach the younger players and galvanizes them. That works well, but there's a reason why some of the older players don't want to play Premier anymore. It's because their bodies can't take it. So you're good while it's going good. But if you lose that senior player for any reason, bam, then all your plans are going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see the team sheet to see if that is the cause. And if that is the cause, then the season could be in trouble.
Oh, wait and see. Definitely wait and see for sure. All right, so let's get into our picks because obviously we all got the two matches this weekend wrong. Because
can I put in a plug? I think that although we agreed that there will be no points given for the Bermuda Curacao game, I think you guys picked so bad you should get -1.
You're trying your best to get ahead.
You're trying your best. You really are. I don't blame you.
Hey, your picks were despicable. You both deserve some sort of penalty.
Hey, just like just like the picks of Robin Hood and St. David, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, we didn't do something crazy and pick Robin Hood to be in 10-0.
We picked Robin Hood to be in.
That's equivalent what you did.
Yeah. But you said they were in big too. You can go back to the videotape.
I said what?
They should have been big.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Hey, that's why gambling's for idiots. Remember that, boys and girls.
All right, let's get into the picks. Going into next week or this week, Punchy and I are on 26. Griff, you're on 25. So the first match this week coming up, I believe, is on Friday night. PHC and Social Club. I'll go first with PHC. Punchy.
Well, that's not easy, no. I think, definitely PHC is going through some trials and tribulation also. Yes. But being PHC soon, I'll pick PHC to win that.
Okay, Griff.
At PHC.
At PHC.
All right, PHC. I was on the fence for a draw. Put that in the margin.
All right, Punchy, you're up.
Yeah.
Dandy Town Hornets and Devonshire Cougars. It will probably be at the rack while Dandy Town and the other teams that play BAA sort out what they need to sort out. So for now,
I'm going for a draw.
The draw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn you, Punchy.
Griff?
I'm going for a draw too.
I'm taking Dandy Town to rebound from their defeat to North Village. All right. Griff, Paget Lions host Devonshire Colts.
Paget Lions host Devonshire Colts.
Remember,
What day is that game? Saturday? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, up Rangers.
Up Rangers, yes.
And yeah, Paget ain't impressing me right now. Devonshire Colts.
Okay. I'm going with the league leaders, Devonshire Colts as well. Punchy?
I'm gonna go with Devonshire Colts with you guys too. Yeah, I don't see Paget winning that game, especially with Devonshire Colts on a high right now. I see Devonshire Colts winning this game.
Yes. Now, back to me. Boulevard and North Village clash at Bernard Park. I'm gonna take North Village. Punchy?
I'm gonna take North Village for a couple of reasons. The performance here against Dennytown was very good. I would say very good, much better. They look like they fixed a few things. It was really looked like everybody, the cohesion in the team was good, and they look better at the back. So I think that North Village Sunday afternoon, North Village is going to win this one.
Okay, Griff.
Based on what Punchy picked against Bermuda and Curacao, makes me feel bad going against him. I think he bets sometimes with his heart. So, but Boulevard ain't impressing me enough, even though they drew with Paget. So, reluctantly, I'm going with North Village.
Okay. Punchy, you're up.
Yep.
St. George's Colts are hosting Crossroads.
Oh,
I think I'm going to go St. George's for this, sir.
Okay.
You might not think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm going to St. George for this. Just had victory the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And how it was achieved. I think that they're probably going to come out of a slump. They're probably going to start coming out of a slump slowly. But I think it was a cup game. It was a one-off game. But
Right.
I still think that in this fixture here at home, this could be the start for St. George's. So I'm going to pick St. George's to win.
Okay. Griff?
Thank you, Punchy. I want to go against him. Draw.
I already wrote down a draw two as well, Griff.
Oh, man.
I've actually filled all my notes, so I don't have to go too far. Yeah, I picked a draw as well. I just think I'm not sure what the extent of if Paul Simons is healthy. If he's not, it puts a dent in what Crossroads want to do for the season because he plays so well off of Donovan Thompson. And if teams only have to mark Thompson, then it makes it a little easier, as we saw with what Devonshire Colts were able to do 2 weeks ago. So for that, I just think the Crossroads coach would set them up more defensively if they don't have Paul Simons, and it would make it a little difficult. But St. George's, I say a 2-2 draw.
So he missed the last game due to flu, right? Or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right.
Yeah.
It's probably but hey. Oh, I've been struggling for the last 2 weeks. If it was a Theraflu, you're back in here. Get this draw for me.
Well, funny enough, Donovan Thompson and Paul Simons had stints at St. George's, so it'd be interesting. All right, so Griff, you're up. We move into the first division. Somerset Trojans host St. David's.
Uh-oh.
Simple, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Simple,
until we
man.
know, until we know if Halley's Comet is streaking across the sky again next week, I think I'll have to stay in Somerset.
Okay. I've already picked the Trojans. Punchy?
I'm with you guys on that. Somerset to win.
You guys are soft, man. Scopes and Davis.
They're on a good traveling team.
Okay. That's right. That's right. So the next game, I'm up first. Southampton Rangers versus Robin Hood.
Oh, dear.
I'm picking Southampton Rangers to edge Robin Hood at home. Those two played a battle in the FA Cup that Robin Hood won, but I think after today's defeat, Robin Hood, so Southampton Rangers will have a little more confidence and a little more grit about themselves, and I think they'll get over the edge 2-1. Punchy?
I'm going with you on that, Earl. I think you said it right. That game was tight, and the home.
Yes.
And I think that I think Rangers will it's going to edge Robin Hood. That's a real setback for them. That loss today.
Yeah.
I don't think the young players going to adjust mentally to that right away. I don't think so.
It's gonna, yeah. Sergio's got a lot of work to do this week.
Yeah.
Griff?
Yeah, before today's result, I see this to be pretty even, but not knowing what happened today, I guess I'm going to give the home team Rangers.
All right, Punchy, you're up. Wolves and Vasco.
Oh, Wolves to win.
Okay. Go ahead, Griff.
I don't have all my previous week's papers here. All right, I'll go with Wolves too.
Okay. And the final match, Griff, you're up first. Under new management, under new leadership, does Hamilton Parish show up to face Somerset Eagles?
Wow.
At Wellington Oval.
Wow.
They've sworn in a new president. They had elections on Friday night. So they have a new committee. I don't know how quickly they will settle into with the football team to encourage guys to show up. They've already defaulted 2 games in the league. They pulled out of their FA Cup game. So let's see. Griff, your thoughts?
Does the new president, did he manage to sign 1980s Corey Hill and Ricky Hill? If not, then I'm gonna have to stick with Eagles.
You pick Eagles. I have taken Eagles as well. And Punchy?
I'm taking Eagles. And even there's a long ride down there, but I think I'm taking Eagles. They ain't gonna turn that around right away. No way. Just ain't gonna happen.
But the first thing they have to turn around is showing up.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. That's got to be the first order of business.
I don't think
the team, because the last 2 matches they haven't been able to field the team.
Following that logic, if they do not show up, does that mean they'll likely to be kicked out of the league, or you think the BFA will give them some sort of leeway since they have new management?
I don't know. The rules are there that you do get kicked out. We saw last season, I believe, a team defaulted 3 games and started this season. So I don't know what the circumstances were. I don't know what the arguments were and the deliberations of how they were able to keep going. But it'll be something that the association would have to sort out with Hamilton Parish. And from there on in, it'll be discussions, because remember, Southampton Rangers will be totally upset if they're kicked out, because that 15 goes down to 3. That goal difference that they sit around with, that they set up through that first win, can come down to whether they get promoted or stay in the first division at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah.
So
I don't know if you do. If you have any feelers out in the street, what's the prevailing thought with how the new executive is going to embrace the the challenge that they have ahead of them.
Well, I actually had an interview with the president. I mean, he said the first order of business is to try to find out where the club's situated, and I mean, he has a lot of work to do because obviously the morale in football at the club is low, and that's a clear indication of when people stop showing up. If they can solidify themselves and even listen, even if they just play out the season, they've got to start somewhere. If they default another game and things pack up, kind of thing, I think it will make it that much more difficult for the club to get a restart of sorts. You know what I mean? I just think in order to encourage people to come and play, you have to have a program up and running. Nobody wants to come and start a kind of key start a new thing, but they have a community base, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those things where you just try this season, just grin and bear it. Don't worry about the score line. If you wanna help your club, you got to represent the club. That's what you got to do.
Yep. Hats off to everybody that took up the challenge. I guess it's easy to come in when things are going good, but it's a whole different story when you're in the hole and gotta dig yourself out of it. So hats off to them for getting in. Club life in general is not an easy thing to try to take on. So hats off to them.
So all eyes, I'm pretty sure all eyes will be on Hamilton Parish this coming weekend at the Wellington Oval. If they show up, that's a big plus for the club and get a game underway. Like I said, don't worry about the score. Keep the club open. Keep the club going. It's got to be that way. You can't just say, okay, let's pack it in this season and then but we'll work on next season. When do you start working on next season? The only time to start working is start now. You know what I mean? So. And the way to do it is to play. I go back to the days of Young Men's Social Club and Island Rangers conceding 100 goals plus a season, and that weren't too long ago.
Yep.
So we just keep looking forward to keep playing.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. It's a difficult situation they have down there now.
Yeah.
Again, if like a lot of young talent, even if they come from that neighborhood, are going away early, going to college, in the United States and England and Canada. So a club that's small, well, I won't call it small, it has a following, but then you got to look at the players and the criminal players and the young players coming through, and I don't see much of that going on. So there's still got a ways to go. Hopefully they can return to the league and return to the way, what they used to do before. And don't forget, I told you guys, we're going back a couple of weeks ago at the show talking about them, is that 4 or 5 years ago, when Hamilton Parish was taking all these going to these youth tournaments, and Burgess was taking them, the Burgess was involved. I don't know what's happening on this since then. Whatever happened to all those young players?
Yeah.
They had a thriving youth program, Hamilton Parish.
Yeah. A lot to be desired. But, well, gentlemen, Griff, you want to add anything else?
Nope. Just everybody enjoy the week of football. We'll pass the international break. Just get back into the season.
We have the game Tuesday night, and then obviously we immediately turn our focus to the women's national team because they have 2 international matches at the end of the month. So we'll be up to date with them and what they're doing. That team should be released sometime soon, so we'll be able to talk to someone with regards to the national team and the national program come next week Sunday. Okay?
Okay.
Gentlemen, enjoy the night, folks. Have a good night. We'll be back next week Sunday, 6 p.m. with another edition of the Island Stat Football Show. Have a good night.